Screen Directors Playhouse, bringing you each week an outstanding original screenplay, chosen and directed by one of the country's foremost motion picture directors. Tonight, Screen Directors Playhouse welcomes Mr. Lewis Allen, director of such famous films as Our Hearts Were Young and Gay and The Uninvited. For this evening, Mr. Allen brings us a delightful comedy entitled Every Man Has Two Wives. Our stars are Barry Nelson, Janet Blair, Buddy Ebsen, and Mary Sinclair.
Gun doesn't get him, that will. Well, that's a sure sign of spring in California. Aphid spray and early blooming sinuses. These roses are California ramblers. And I'm Della Morgan. I don't pride myself in understanding men in general, but there is one man in particular I do know. My husband, Bill. It's the large economy size understanding, and I guess I need it to cope with Bill Morgan as he is. And as he thinks he is, come spring. Yes, come spring, we know where a young man's fancy turns. But a man nearing 40 positively spins. The unusual part of Bill's emotional kink is that there actually is another woman in his life. I know the other woman is just a symbol of Bill's rapidly retreating youth. And if he wants to break his fingernails hanging on to it, it's all right with me, as long as it makes him happy. Oh, that's a gloomy sigh for such a bright morning, darling.
Oh, hello, dear. Yes, I was daydreaming a little.
Well, she's right on time. It's spring and the house needs painting.
I was just taking a breather.
You know, I sometimes wonder how you make your dream girl stand up in a live competition, especially when you haven't even seen her in the last 12 years. Shouldn't you allow a little something for erosion, dear?
Oh, I don't know. They probably hasn't changed much since we went to school together. She was the prettiest girl in Wheatfield.
Yeah, but that was 12 years ago, dear.
All right. Kid around if you want to. But Faye Galt was really something. You ought to meet her sometime. See for yourself.
Oh, I'd love to, darling. I've told you that many times. In fact, I shudder at the thought of the long, empty years ahead without meeting Faye Galt.
There isn't much of a trip up to Wheatfield when you come to think of it.
You came to think of it, not me. But why now, all of a sudden? Wheatfield's been 756 miles from Los Angeles for a long time.
Well, there was this guest lecturer at the Bar Association luncheon the other day. He was a lawyer from back home in Idaho, and he mentioned that Faye still lives in Wheatfield.
Oh. And did he also mention that the fish are practically biting each other up there? Like you mentioned, hopefully every spring.
Yeah.
Ugh, look at the man's eyes glaze as he mentally meanders down those 756 love-drenched miles to paradise.
Oh, for heaven's sake, Della.
Well, there is an alternative, dear. And that's to fling our bags and the fishing rod in the car and buzz up to Wheatfield for a few days.
What?
Sure. And if we catch any fish, we can bake them over the hot embers you've kept blowing all these years.
What? Can't just take off like a couple of gypsies.
This is no time to be class conscious, dear.
What about our responsibilities? I mean, after all, we got two sons in military school, either of whom may at any minute break a leg sliding into second base and call for their mom. You should at least be within yelling distance.
That's your responsibility. Daddy taught him to run bases, not Mommy. What's the matter, William? Turning chicken?
What do you mean?
You know what I mean. You're afraid. You're afraid to meet Faye Galt after 12 years of wear and tear. You're insecure, Bill. And insecure people dream as a means of compensation.
That did it. Afraid? Insecure, huh? Well, wifey dear, we're sleeping 300 miles north of here tonight.
Oh, this is it. Good old Wheatfield. What do you think of it, Della?
Oh, looks like a place any tourist would be glad to stop. Providing got hit by a truck and broke both legs.
Hey, don't turn up your nose, city gal. It's little cities like this that are the lifeblood of America.
I'll take mine from the Red Cross.
The town is a little smaller than I remembered it, but we had some big times here, you can bet. You see that vacant lot over there? That's where the livery stable used to be. Yes, sir. The old Bacchus livery stable. I remember one night, Fred Himbersaft and I sneaked in. We tied all the horses' tails to the feed rack. What's the matter? Don't you think it's funny?
Oh, yes. As a matter of fact, I don't think I've ever heard of the name Himberstaff before. What does it mean?
German for raspberry. Oh, well, he was a big square. Nearest thing to a town clown we had.
Yeah, but he sure could tie horses' tails, couldn't he? Okay, but now that you've mentioned it, I'm hungry enough to eat a horse.
There's a diner over there. Let's try it. I can start telephoning some people.
Oh, them red spots on the menu there, that's smart chili. It's a specialty of the house. It's very popular.
Oh, yes, it does look very tempting. But I think I'll have a hamburger without.
Me too.
What's the matter? Don't you people like chili?
Yes, we do.
Well, then why don't you order it? It's like I said, a specialty of the house. Everybody eats it.
Not me. I just want a hamburger.
With chili?
No, just a plain old hamburger.
Hey, it's your own funeral. But you won't like it as well as you would the chili. Tourists?
Don't tell me. It's Willie Morgan. Willie Morgan, you old son of a... See, Cook, how are you, boy?
Fred! Well, how are you? So this is Mrs. Morgan. I want you to meet Fred Himbersaft, an old sidekick of mine, a wonderful guy, and the best pal I ever had.
Well, how do you do, Mr. Wimberstaff? I'm glad to know you. Willie's just been telling me about you.
Yeah, I did, didn't I? Oh, it's good to see you, Fred.
Likewise, Willie. What are you doing in this decrepit old burg, anyhow?
Well, Dell and I were doing a little fishing. We thought we'd drop by, see the old homestead.
Actually, the fishing is just secondary. Bill came up to see an old school chum. She has...
Yes, an old school chum. Good old Fred Himbersaft in the flesh. Yes, sir.
Oh, Willie, that's mighty fine. Well, come on out the house and meet the missus. She'll be tickled in it. Oh, you too, Mrs. Morgan. I know you're going to like my Fay.
Did you say Fay?
Yeah. You remember Fay Gall, don't you?
Married you?
Speak of me.
Not only married me, she's still living with me. Did you know about it? Well, I've known about it for years.
Oh, I'm sure I'm just going to love her, Mr. Himbersaft.
Well, your husband did once upon a time. Come on, let's drive out and surprise her.
Hey, just a minute there. 2 burgers without. That'll be 90 cents.
But don't be silly. We didn't eat the hamburgers.
Well, of course you didn't. I told you wouldn't like them without chili.
Hey, Fay! Somebody's here. Surprise us. Himbersaft Hall, folks. A little fancy, but I call it home.
It's elegant.
Nothing too good for my Fay. What's the matter, baby? Come on down.
Tell your guests to make themselves at home.
And that's an order. Take the weight off your feet, kiddies. Now, looky. Fay's going to want us all to have dinner together somewhere, so, talk about the good old days, and I'll call a little roadhouse I know. Real Kansas steaks.
Don't forget this is my party.
Don't be silly, buddy. In L.A., you're a big shot lawyer, but right here in Wheatfield, I'm the potato king.
Hello, big shot.
Don't rub it in.
Oh, don't worry, darling. I'll stand by ready to bail you out.
Hello, who's this? Mac? Mac is Himbersaft up in Wheatfield. Yeah, sure, where all the wheat comes from. All these potatoes.
A real big shot.
Now, listen, Mac. On a booth tonight for 4. Yeah, make it about 7 o'clock.
Fred must be plenty rich to own a home like this.
So it's a deal, folks. Sure helps your social life being the potato king of the state.
All right, honey, here I come.
Okie dokie, baby. Oh, you just ain't seen nothing yet.
I've been waiting 12 years for this. Don't worry, darling. I shan't rub it in. I'm not one to...
Hey, you remember good old Willie Morgan? That there's his little woman.
William Morgan. After all these years. Welcome to Wheatfield, Willie.
I guess nobody ever forgot my Faye.
Just the way I always pictured her, too. After 12 whole years. What's the matter? Haven't you anything to say?
Nope. I opened up my big mouth once too often in Los Angeles. What on earth's that?
Oh, there's somebody in the next room taking a shower. Hey, you're not jealous, are you?
Me? Jealous?
How come you didn't want to stay at their house? They offered us any bedroom we wanted. Don't you trust me under the same roof with Faye?
Well, I sleep better in a hotel. I was a hotel baby.
Oh, stop pouting like a spoiled brat, or Faye isn't going to think any more of you than you think of her.
I have absolutely and unreservedly nothing against Faye. She's beautiful, she's charming, she's... Will you please stop patting me on the head like I was a Cocker Spaniel?
You know something, honey? You wives can sure fracture me.
That's a very generous offer. I'm tempted.
No, no kidding. I'm serious. You all think that the only thing your husband saw in the girls before you was a pretty face. But Faye had something else, something inside. A real down-to-earthiness, and yet a great spirituality besides. Come in. Hey, folks, you decent?
Howdy, howdy. Well, how's about it?
We're starving.
Faye, I simply have to tell you, not even in L.A. have I seen such a beautiful mink stove.
Why, thank you, Willie.
That's nothing. You ought to see the first Faye really has. One of every kind for every occasion.
Me? I just love the simple things. Real nice and simple.
Okay, folks, let's get this party on the road.
No, thank you.
Don't you like champagne, Faye?
Not really. I remember when I was a little girl reading all those novels where wonderful things happened to heroines after they drunk champagne. I'd say to myself, I can't wait. Then I had my first taste of champagne.
And what did you think?
Well, I thought, so this is champagne, is it? Well, I'd rather have ginger beer.
See what a nice down-to-earth girl Faye is, honey.
Well, I just adore champagne.
Me too. Well, skål, as they say in Sweden.
You were always such a good dancer, Willie. Shall we?
You mind, Fred?
Poor Freddie. He never could dance very well. Remember, Willie?
Ah, run along, Willie. Dance with my little Faye. It'd be my pleasure. You know, Della, I'm going to call you Della if you don't mind.
Oh, please do. Himbersaf's quite a mouthful.
I was going to say, my wife and your husband sure look good out on that dance floor, don't they?
Just like Astaire and Rogers.
Yeah, you said it, sister. You know, Willie used to be nuts about Faye when they were kids. Do you know that?
Well, let's just say you're not telling any tales out of school.
She used to give me an earful about how wonderful he was.
Didn't you mind?
Ah, just puppy love. Me, I haven't got a jealous bone in my body.
Me neither. Shake.
Hey, remember, Faye, how you and I used to win all those jitterbug cups?
Oh, my goodness, yes. You know, Willie, several months ago, I ran across them down the basement. I had one of the maids polish them up. They were so pretty, I just broke right down and cried.
Really? I bet you never expected to see me again, did you?
No, but I'm glad I have. You danced right back into my life, Willie.
Yeah. That's the way I feel, too. Thanks very much, Faye.
Well, thank goodness that's over.
Everything eventually must come to an end.
You sure said a mouthful, Della.
Hey, Faye still gets around that floor like a dream dancing, doesn't she?
Well, if you'll excuse me, I think I'll powder my nose.
I, too. Excuse me.
She's a great girl, Faye. Always was.
Oh, you think so, do you?
I sure enough do.
You know, Mrs. Morgan, you're a very lucky woman. To have a husband as nice as Willie.
Oh, you think so, do you?
What I mean is, you're so ideally matched.
Tell me, Mrs. Do you mind if I call you Fay?
Please do. There's something about Himberstaff that's always rubbed me the wrong way.
Well, Fay, my husband's been talking and raving about you for 12 years. And, well, were you two ever really engaged?
Engaged? Willie and I? Oh, my goodness, no.
But didn't you even like him?
Of course I liked him. He was always the best dancer of the lot.
A lot.
I had my pick of all of them. I carefully screened every candidate. I chose Fred Himberstaff, and I've never regretted it. You see, I have everything I want. Have you?
I have Bill. Thank you.
Oh, but ma'am, I don't even have to clean up after you.
That's for good luck. I just had my eyes open.
I bet I know what you two boys have been talking about.
What, Fay?
Me.
Right on the button as usual, sweetie.
Thank you, Willie. Oh, my, that song brings back happy memories.
Yeah. Yeah, it sure does. How about it, Fay?
I don't mind. Do you, Freddie?
Me? Why, you know I'm not the jealous type, honey.
I know, Freddie. Bill is such a doll.
Isn't it a good thing you and I aren't a bit jealous, Fred?
Yeah.
Love the slow foxtrot, especially the way they dance. It's so full of controlled passion.
Yeah? Just as if the years had stood still.
Alas, alas. They never do that.
Oh. For you, they have, Fay.
Why, thank you, Bill. But time does march on.
Dances beautifully as always.
It's like swimming or roller skating, I suppose. It's coming back.
I hope other things are coming back, too. Memories. You and I. The things we used to do.
I wish your husband wouldn't do that. Hold her so tight.
Faye seems to be enjoying it.
If he tries that again, I'll...
Oh, what a pity it's all over. I could watch them dance all night.
Mrs. Morgan, that isn't exactly a very proper thing to say. You better dance the next one with your own wife, Willie.
What's eating you?
Why, Freddie, Billsy Willsy and I were just...
Billsy Willsy.
That's what I used to call him, and it just came out.
Yeah, I don't doubt it, along with a lot of other things.
Now, just what did you mean by that little remark, Mr. Himberstaff?
Laddie, you know, and so does he.
What the devil are you talking about?
Why didn't you stay in Los Angeles? You sure didn't come back here to look over the potato crop.
I think we were going fishing.
You keep out of this.
Don't talk that way to my wife, you big squarehead.
Don't talk that way to my husband.
You stay out of this.
His affairs are mine, you half-baked shrimp.
Fine way to talk to the man you almost married.
Married? He may have thought so. Why, nobody else ever had a chance. Except my Freddie.
Freddie and his potatoes.
Leave my potatoes out of this.
I set my bonnet for you, Freddie. Because I knew you wanted me. Because I knew that you could give me everything I wanted. And keep on giving it to me.
Hey, you're just saying that. What about all the promises we made?
Promises. That's what they were, Willie. Sweet talk. Why, do you know what I would have ended up with if I'd been serious about you? A suburban cottage, a 5-year-old car. And only one, too, instead of a whole garage full. And kids and housework and a hard-working pipsqueak lawyer. And hominy grits for breakfast.
You're so right, dear. We have hominy grits every Sunday morning, and we just, love them. They're simple and
Well, I'll take the eggs Benedict. That's what I get with Freddie. And more.
Faisy, you're the greatest.
I feel sorry for you, Freddie, old boy. Tied for life to a vain, self-centered little flirt.
Okay, buddy. You asked for it. Come on outside and we'll settle this.
With pleasure.
Mrs. Morgan, you've got to stop it.
Why?
Freddie's so much bigger than your husband. You'll give him the beating of his life.
Good.
How can you sit there so calm and collected at a time like this? Don't you love Willie?
I sure do.
Well, then why?
A sock of the jaw might knock some sense into him. He'll get one thing out of his system.
What?
You, dear.
I believe you planned this.
Aren't you smart?
Mrs. Morgan, you don't know Freddie's temper or his strength. We've got to stop them, please.
All right, Mrs. Himas. Off to the arena.
I can't hit you. Just can't hit you.
Me neither.
I feel sorry for you. That's what it adds up to. I guess I feel sorrier for you than anybody in the whole wide world.
Sorry for me. What for?
Tied for all these years to a wife like Faye? Well, she's using you, mate. She's bleeding you to death. Why don't you call a halt to it?
Why should I?
Well, don't you see? She's taking every dime you make. You'll end up penniless. Look, old boy, you gotta admit, everything I said is true. She's vain, she's extravagant, she's using you. Isn't that all so?
Sure, it's true. I admit every word of it. But there's one thing you don't understand.
What's that?
I love the dame. I just can't help it. And what's more, I can afford her.
That lucky guy.
Don't you and Della ever have a real good old-fashioned fight?
No, we couldn't do that. We know each other too well.
I don't get it, pal. Half the pleasure of marriage is the quarrels. Because, brother, it's so beautiful when you make up.
The war's over, men. Time to go home. That last road sign said Los Angeles city limits.
Yeah, another 4 hours and we'll be home.
You glad?
You bet. You?
Never happier.
Well, Fay Gold is out of my dreams forever. Come next spring, all you have to worry about is my sinuses.
Wanna bet?
No, I mean it. From now on, you're my dream wife.
Why, Bill. How nice.
There's just one thing that sort of bothers me.
What?
Something happened in that powder room. Is that where you caught on to Fay?
Yes, I was real dense. Not till then.
Everything that happened after that, you engineered it that way, didn't you? Didn't you?
You're the lawyer. Figure it out for yourself.